Hello, my friends. Welcome back to MTD. Actually, it's the gun show, but did you show up for both? Everyone loves MTD, world's most famous marketing and news channel for manufacturing. But let's start there at the beginning with what is the gun show? So if you showed up for the first time, first of all, thank you. If you showed up for the nth time, also thank you. But if you did show up for the first time and you showed up to talk about guns as in weapons or guns as in muscles, yeah, they're getting bigger. They're getting bigger. No, not like Christian, my producer, but not like my guest today either. But we're not really here to talk about guns, weapons, or muscles. We are here to kind of hopefully connect the dots between all people and manufacturing, really humanize what's going on in manufacturing. So that's what we're doing here on the Gun Show. And this is the VIP edition where we fly people in from all over the world to Boca Raton, Florida to be here at the Podcast Junkies, trying to be as cool as Joe Rogan. We're working on it, but the manufacturing world. So hopefully we are exciting for you, and I hope you enjoy the show as well. So let's first start off, Christian, with the one bad joke of the day, which may turn into two or three, just depending on how I'm feeling today. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So the first one is just going to be a statement. I think it's kind of funny, and I figured doesn't have a question to it, but let's see if I can get you to laugh. It says, today at the bank, an old lady asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. No laughing at all. No. But picture it. Picture me pushing an old lady over at the bank.
I could never picture that.
Fine, whatever. You didn't like that one at all. Okay. What do you call the security guards for Samsung?
I don't know. I feel like I could get this one though. But...
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Yay! All right, all right. Since you are a vegan, my friend, I have one for you. You wouldn't eat eggs and ham and eggs, would you?
No.
No. Well, ham and eggs is a day's work for a chicken, but a lifetime commitment for a pig.
That's true.
All right, last one. Terrible jokes, but that's how we start this show anyway, just to get a little giggle. You know, I was at the library the other day, Christian, and I found a book called How to Solve 50% of Your Problems, so I bought two.
There's another good one.
Hey, here we are. All right, this is an MTDCNC production in case you missed that part at the beginning. Let's thank a few of our sponsors, AMT and IMTS. September is going to be massive and beautiful and awesome. If you are outside of the industry listening to manufacturing today, we invite you, September, join us. And come say hi. Give me a high five, take a picture. We love just spending time with people who are interested in the industry, so please do so. And EBITDA Growth Systems, if this is your returning show, you know what I'm about to say. If this is a new show for you, well, listen up. EBITDA Growth Systems guarantees that they'll double your profit within 3 years. So whether you're a struggling shop, a regular shop, or a shop looking to sell into the future, just think about that. Within 3 years, double your profit. Absolutely fascinating. Reach out to my friends Dave and Mike there. And then we have Shop Floor Coffee. Shop Floor Coffee is interesting because they're giving back to the education side of things, really supporting some of these associations. So a percentage of the proceeds all go to support the education side of manufacturing. If you use my code, then all of it goes into a fund where I'm going to send some of these great thought leaders. Hopefully, if we get a big enough fund, hint, hint, wink, wink, big enough fund, we're going to send some of these thought leaders around the country and potentially around the world to create awareness, certainly the country first and foremost. All right. Today's guest, let me give you a headline about today and the conversation. The mission is to create and deliver a superior product. Taking an engineering-first approach, they have innovated the industry where being subpar was previously normalized. Whether it's mist collectors, air purifiers, filters, or accessories, you can be confident that you are receiving a quality product made and assembled in Canada. They take great pride in their products and craftsmanship, constantly ensuring they deliver the best product, which is suitable for your specific application. Please welcome my good friend Erik, Vice President of Sales at Aeroex Technologies, who coincidentally is on episode 32 of The Gun Show as well. So if you want to know more about his personal story, go tune into that, because today we're opening the doors on why we all need to breathe better and how we can do it. Erik, good to have you, my friend. Thanks for coming down from Canada. Welcome back to The Gun Show, my friends. This is the VIP edition.
Thanks, Tony. That was quite the introduction. You did well.
Yeah? I'm decent at reading and then amplifying certain words from time to time to make it sound much cooler.
It's like you do this for a living.
Motivational speaking in my future? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can pull it off.
As long as I have a teleprompter. So good to have you. It's a little warm here in South Florida, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah. I'm going to be breaking a sweat throughout this show, but it's all right. I'm enjoying it. I left Canada about 40 degrees and rain, so this is nice. It's a nice change of pace.
And because you're doing metric system in Canada, not 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius or what?
Fahrenheit. I converted for you.
Is it really that chilly?
Yeah, it's good.
Still. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Well, it did feel that way when I was in Vancouver not too long ago.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, I would like to start this off, just a brief introduction of who you are and kind of how you got here. I mean, again, go to episode 32. We can do that. That's where we really spent a lot of time on Erik's journey and story because it is fascinating. He has a long legacy of real courage and bravery and hopping around and learning about the industry. And you've recently made some moves within Aeroex as well, which congratulations, kudos, well-deserved, and such an amazing, amazing team there. You've gifted me the opportunity to speak with some of your clients in Canada, some of your clients here in the U.S., and spent time with you at meals up in Toronto area as well, so thank you for that.
Gifted the opportunity. I like that. That's more of that verbal cuddling, I guess.
Well, okay, so verbal cuddling was something we accidentally did before we hit record, and they was like, wait a second, verbal cuddling? That's kind of a cool little saying right there. So yes, verbal cuddling.
I like it.
Making sure you're taken care of. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and also let's dive right into the Aeroex as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Erik Goglidze, I'm the VP of Sales at Aeroex. I've been with the team at Aeroex for about 4.5 years now, and it was quite a journey. 4.5 years ago when I joined the team, we were about 10 people total, one facility, 7,000 square feet. We manufacture our own product, and we saw a gap in the industry that we pursued to close. Fast forward to today, we're now in 3 facilities, about 30,000 square feet. There's over 30 employees, and we continue to grow. So it's been quite a journey, and I'm excited for what the future has to hold.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of that stuff that I've learned thanks to you and thanks to your team and being there firsthand, seeing how it all works. Firstly, the importance of air filtration. I have been into shops where I cannot breathe or there's smog, or quite literally you could, for those watching on YouTube, take your hands and swim through the smog in a shop. And I am not joking. I've been around the world. I've been to some countries where filtration, air filtration is just not respected like I would wish it would be, as I can't breathe, literally swimming around like that. So from maybe an elevator pitch or maybe a factual side, whatever you want to give, the importance of air filtration and paying attention to this in the factories as we continue to dive into, as I'll bring up later, a little bit of the labor shortage and getting better recruitment, plus the health. And we've talked with John Grimsmo about being healthy outside of work and riding his bike around a lot, and the team does. And so let's just talk about the overall importance. Let's help people understand your lungs matter, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the machining industry or the machine shops have this stigma of being dark, dungy, smoky, and that's no longer the case. A lot of people are moving towards cleaning things up. Mist collection is something that wasn't required or wasn't implemented in many cases for many years, and as a result, there's been a lot of health problems that come from that. So we have customers that give us testimonials on their ability to go home and not have stomach aches at the end of the day, their skin clearing up, many health benefits for sure, because at the end of the day, it's chemicals that you're breathing in. That operator, when they open the machine door, they get a face full of mist, and it's not good for you. For the people that don't know, it's definitely not good for you. What's happened though is there is many types of technology out there, and there hasn't been much innovation in this space for 50 years or so. As we see innovation in high pressure coolant systems, tooling, everybody's machining faster, everybody's machining harder, they're generating more mist. And as a result, a lot of that data technology isn't keeping up. Now, our goal at Aeroex is to provide a product that works and is efficient. So now your operator is not getting that face full of mist. You don't have smoke coming out of the chip conveyor or any opening in the machine, but also a product that's easy to integrate into any machine tool, and a product excuse me, that is low service, low on maintenance. And those are the 3 key things that we focus on: efficiency, integration, and maintenance free.
Yeah, those are important to understand. I'd like to start with you, if it's okay, about some of the differences about an industry that has not really let's say evolved. It might be a real kind of mean word to say, but we have to grow with the times. We have to make sure that the three keynotes that you just mentioned are there. And I've learned from you, let's just talk about the airflow numbers to start and how it's kind of been skewed. And you guys are like, no, let us pay attention to what this is actually doing. And we'll go into a lot of the other details, and I want to learn about some of the new capabilities that you guys are doing, as I also believe that you are leading the industry right now. I do a lot of studying, and I'm grateful for what you guys are doing. But let's just start with the simplistic understanding that some numbers are fudged, and you guys aren't doing that.
Yeah, and that, it puts us at a disadvantage initially when people are doing in their research phase. But we are adamant on being honest and transparent. So
thank you for that, by the way.
So to that point, there are technologies out there that may not use filtration, your conventional filtration or media filter. They're using whether it's electrostatic or centrifugal, and they advertise airflow in terms of the capability of the motor that is in that mist collector. Now, what happens is a lot of the time when that technology cannot keep up with the high pressure coolant system, a filter is added on top. And that fan isn't designed for the static pressure that the filter adds. So all of a sudden what happens, now you get a fraction of the airflow that you're expecting from that machine. As a result, you get smoke and mist coming out of every opening in the machine. And again, that the door opens and the big cloud comes out. What we do is we advertise the airflow of our systems in delivered airflow is what we call it, in the sense that that's what you get when you put the mist collector on the machine with the filter in it. The motors that we use are rated at a much higher airflow, but what we advertise is what you get.
I also would like to talk about the fact that you understand this technology and your technology so well, and all your guys and gals out there do, that I've heard stories where some people go, well, I want the big one. I want to suck up as much as I can, and then they're actually sucking up coolant that's necessary for actually cutting parts. Can we talk about kind of the research, the education that your team goes through to make sure that if somebody says, I want the bigger, better to do multiple things, it actually fits for them? Because I think everyone out there who's a part of our industry, how many times does someone go to an Amazon and go, that probably works for me? Or, goes online and goes, it's just filtration. I can just pick whatever I want. Yeah. There's so much more to it, right?
Yeah, so there are two sides to that. The first side is, like you said, there are people that look for the lowest cost product and they say, hey, filtration, check the box, moving on. The other side is the people that want everything oversized. Turn it up to 11. We talk about high pressure coolant and oil systems, and that happens, and that's not necessary a lot of the time. Even a lot of the OEMs and machine tools will say, hey, you don't need to have this at maximum pressure. So when our sales team gets a client that's asking for a solution, we work with them every step of the way. We determine what is the machine tool that you have, what is the shop setup, and we give them different options. Whether you want a machine mount a mist collector, we size it appropriately. And as much as sales loves to sell, we will not sell you something you don't need. So to your point, we're not going to sell you an oversized piece of equipment that won't do well for you, because it's going to suck more coolant than it needs to, and it's going to load those filters. The key is it's a balance of airflow, the volume of air it's moving, and the velocity, how fast that air is moving through the suction port. What you want to do is you just want to overcome the expansion rate of that mist to prevent it from escaping from the machine, and no more. Otherwise, you're going to increase your maintenance.
It makes sense when you say it out loud. But everyone goes, I want bigger, better. Right. You said 11, maybe even turn it up to 100, right? My dial goes to 100. But you're right. And Christian, I'm going to ask you a question real quick. If you want to turn on your microphone, I'm just going to present you something, because you're outside of the industry. You're not in manufacturing, but we have a labor shortage. You've heard me talk about it all the time. I think that's not just a U.S. thing. That is a world thing. And it's probably just more than manufacturing, if I'm being honest. There's a bottleneck of certain industries that could use some more help. But I want to present a question to you. From the outside looking in, if you decided, you know what, all of this podcasting that Tony's been doing and Erik has inspired me today, I'm going to get into manufacturing. I'm going to change my career, no longer be a producer on podcasts, and go into a machine shop. What would attract you the most, and maybe what would deter you the most, if I present you with some of the coolest, latest, and greatest robotic automation, or some of the really cool 3D printing where you can make some stuff, and also a machine shop that is clean and you can breathe and you have a floor that you can potentially eat off of, quote unquote, as they say? What areas of this do you think would be important for you, saying, I'm going to go to this shop versus this shop?
Personally, I've always had an interest in like knife making and stuff like that. So it might be something simple. You know what I mean? Like that. Robotics are cool too, but that doesn't. I feel like it. Creating cool knives or something interests me more than that even. So I think that would be my answer, even though that's probably like on a lower tier of.
That's all right. It's a good understanding.
Advancement of manufacturing.
But that's a good way to explain it. So what I want to do now is take that. You're making cool ass knives. In fact, our friend John Grimsmo does that as well. You're making some cool knives right now, and you got two shops across the street from each other. One of them is foggy and smelly, and your girlfriend won't even look at you when you get home from the shop because you smell bad from this stuff. And the other one is clean and pristine. What shop are you going into?
Obviously the clean and pristine.
I've obviously presented it that way, yes. But I think it's an obvious answer for everyone. So Eric, let's talk about not just necessarily from the clean filtration side of things, but that's certainly where I want you to focus on the advantages of upskilling our people and inviting people into our factories, which definitely include technologies and filtration in clean environments.
Yeah, I think you nailed it here with somebody that's not in our industry. Optics is a big factor in decision making when young professionals are looking for a place of employment. When you walk into a place where you can't breathe, it's smelly, it's oily, it's slippery, and you walk out after 5 minutes smelling like coolant, and those clothes are going to smell until you wash them a couple of times.
Or burn them.
That's right. And then you walk into another facility, which there are many of today, that it feels like you're in a hospital almost. It's clean and you can eat off that floor. Let's use John Grimsmo's shop as an example. It is pristine.
He made us take off our shoes on a rainy day.
That's correct. He made us take off our shoes. And if you didn't notice, when somebody dropped something on the floor, there was an individual immediately came and cleaned that up. And I think that's very important for many things, because these are the foundational things that makes a great manufacturing company. If you take that kind of pride in your facility where you make your product, that's going to show in the product that you're making.
I couldn't agree more, my friend. And that goes to even in our personal lives, our bedrooms being a mess. Maybe there's something awry in our lives, right? And don't get me wrong, they do say that geniuses' desks are messy. So don't let me just
My desk is quite messy.
Is it really? But the idea and the concept of you take pride in all things, and Grimsmo's a great advocate for that. I want to slide into, and I want to get into some of your newer, exciting technologies, because this is going to be new for me as well, and I'll probably have an hour and a half of questions to ask you about the new stuff. But I want to segue from that, from a previous conversation we've had. We were up in Canada, and you took me into a shop. Was it KPT? Is that the name? Yeah. You took me into a shop, and they had this big, bulky, sexy, old filtration system that has been there for a long time. And I bring that up.
17 years, Chris said.
17 years. And I bring that up because you guys have gotten extremely popular over, say, the last 2 to 3 years. And some people think you've only existed for the last 2 to 3 years. And I want them to understand, no. There's far more research, R&D that has gone into the growth over the last 20 years?
25. So
25
we were established
years.
back in 1998.
So 25 years. It's not just an overnight success that people are now seeing everywhere as your part. As you've done a really great job, might I add, but as your partnerships grow, as we see you everywhere, even people private labeling your product because it's so good and you'd never know it's yours, but they're taking advantage of how great your quality is. So let's talk about a little bit of the legacy of the company, the growth in today, and then let's move into some of the new exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, we were established back in 1998. So we've got 26 years of experience.
Wait. The 90s were 25 years ago? I got to get out of here. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we're all old. So we have a lot of experience in the industry. And you're right. Lately, we did do a big push in partnerships in standing on a mountain and screaming, "We're here! The technology is here, and it is affordable." And that was really our goal: is to bring superior depth loading fiber bed filtration technology that is widely used in Europe at an affordable price. That was the gap, and we were able to close that gap. So now our customers can enjoy technology that is maintenance free, technology that gives you clean air, actually at a cost-effective price point. So for a very long time, we were really in our Canadian market. And recently we started expanding, and as it's been kind of a snowball effect as we grew more into the United States, made more partnerships, more shops started seeing our mist collectors. So we work with a number of machine tool dealers. When a client purchases a new machine tool, they get our mist collector with it, and all of a sudden they're saying, "Hey, how come this machine doesn't have smoke coming out of it, and that one does?" And there's one common denominator: it's the mist collector, right? So then it's like I said, it's a snowball effect. And now our goal is, as you mentioned earlier, automation, right? Automation is huge. Robotics are huge. One factor, one benefit of mist collectors that many people don't know about is that it protects your equipment. So when you walk into a shop that's full of mist, that's full of smoke, guess what? All the cooling fans in your machines are sucking that right into the electronics of your machine. And we've had customers that reach out because they have to repair their machines as a result. So now people invest more into equipment with automation and robotics. There's significant investments that go into that, and they want to protect their investments. So we're seeing growth there, and we are also working with new product development to complement some of these automation cells in many different ways, from mist collection to parts blow-off stations and others.
You know, I listened to you speak about this topic, and in my brain I'm going, the machines are sucking it in, and so are the humans, and we're concerned about the machines. We're machines kind of too. Maybe we should, going back to that other point, we're all breathing it in, and at the end of the day, it's wonderful to have the right partner that takes technology from other places in the world, makes it affordable and convenient. I want to circle back toward the beginning of this conversation when you mentioned kind of your three pieces that were important, right? One of the pieces that stand out to me that I noticed, and I was grateful that you showcased this to me when I was at your facility getting a tour there, the time it takes to change out a filtration system when necessary, which is typically a lot longer than anything else that's out there. So the ease of use, the understanding, can we kind of open up the doors to that part of the conversation as well, where we talk about, look, do you want to spend 1 hour, 5 hours, 3 hours, once a month, once every 3 months, 6 months changing out filtration, or do you want something that lasts, and when it's done, take 5 minutes, knock it out, and move on about your life and get back to the things that are profiting you money? Or profiting you money. Does that even make sense? Profiting your company.
I get that. So absolutely. And every product that we design and make, we do it with the user in mind. Because we are very hands-on. We're a very hands-on team. So myself, I've been through numerous installations. Our entire sales team, the training process is to go through installations and install these mist collectors. So if a sales professional can do it, anybody can do it, right?
That's what we say, isn't it?
That's right.
I mean, it tells us something about ourselves, but
it also
tells other people.
That's right. But it's also important to make it easy. And that's in the background of everything that we design. So to your point earlier, our filter changes don't require any tools. It's either a latch system or a cross wheel system, and it takes 3 minutes, if I'm being generous, to service the mist collector. So that, compared to some of the other systems out there,
I was just going to add that. I was going to actually interrupt you and just say, what are the averages, just for comparison, for people who are trying to learn?
So when we look at some different technologies, there are technologies that require frequent cleaning of cells, and a lot of people don't do it in-house. They have an outside service company that does that. Of course, that comes with significant costs. There are other systems that require significant cleaning inside, and that is done in-house, but it can be complex and time-consuming, and with room for damaging the system. When that happens, you have to replace it.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, you describe these things to me, and I've known you for a few years now, and I've known this technology for a few years, but why wouldn't just everyone go with Aeroex? It just seems to make sense to me.
Well, and that's what we scream off the mountain top. But I think a lot of it is brand recognition, right? You've got
oh gosh, that's so important. We've all figured that out, right? But you're doing a great job at that, I might add.
Thank you. And what we're trying to do is share our information, because it makes sense when you learn about it.
Yeah.
So, in our world today, I would say that 80% of the buying journey happens before a potential client contacts you, right? With the Amazonization of the world, everybody is a procurement professional. So I know when I'm looking to make a purchase, I research it and I narrow it down to 1 or 2 not one, but 2 or 3 products, let's say, and then I will contact them and have that conversation. I think that's happening with most people now as the younger generation moves in, and we have the tools to do that. So our goal is to share this information during that research phase, make it available, and brand recognition is a big part, because you need to be one of the brands that's being considered in that phase.
Yeah, and actually, I want to thank you for that statement. For everyone out there, that's one of the reasons why people work with MTD, is because 80% of the decision making is done before they contact you. Everyone is doing the research online, whether it's Google or YouTube or whatever it might be. They're researching. When they give you a call, they pretty much know the answers, the questions, everything they're supposed to receive. It's just pretty much cost and lead time. I've learned that now. Thank you for your friendship also, and thank you for saying that and doing my job for me so I don't have to.
At EBITDA Growth Systems, we guarantee to double your value in 3 years. Well, instead of telling you about a guarantee, how about if I tell you a story? We had a shop owner come to us at an event saying, "I'm not sure if you can help us." He said, "We have our credit lines maxed out in our business. I have a second mortgage on my home, it's maxed out. I'm not sure what to do. I have a payroll coming up next week and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Can you help us?" We said we weren't sure, so we came in and we came alongside of him. In 18 months, he went from not having any money to having over $800,000 in the bank and having a 6 times exit what his value was at that day. And now he's living a life that he always dreamed of with his family. And it's fantastic, and that's what's really rewarding for us, and that's what EBITDA Growth Systems is all about. If you want to know more about EBITDA Growth Systems, go to www.ebitagrowthsystems.com, EBITDA growthsystems.com, and go to our contact page where I will reach out to you personally.
All right, I want to talk now about, and you've touched on it a little bit, but I know you wanted to highlight some of the new things that are going on, right? And is there any, as we're on the top of the mountain shouting, let me just offer you this bullhorn, right? And shout a little louder. What's new? What's the latest and greatest? I know you'll be at IMTS, right?
That's right.
What can people look forward to? What are you working on? Anything that's current that people can get into that's exciting? And then potentially what you can or cannot let people know about for the future.
That's right. So I don't want to give it away yet because it is quite exciting. So we're working on, as I mentioned, automation, systems that complement automation cells. There's a lot of research and development that's going into that right now. We're working with some of our great partners that are end users of the product. And really what we do is we ask, hey, what do you wish you had in this automation cell as it relates to coolant management? And when I say coolant management, coolant that escapes from your machine. Mm-hmm. And you take that feedback and we work together with our customers to give them what they need. So we will be unveiling some new products at IMTS, and we're also working on innovating or improving our existing product lines always through feedback from our customers. So there's going to be a lot of really cool things coming out Q4 this year. Stay tuned, and please, IMTS, if you're not going to be there, everybody who's anybody in our industry is going to be there. Come by our booth. It's going to be very exciting.
And if you can't go by the booth, but we also invite you, just like Eric just said, we'll make some videos for you, I promise. Let's stick on the term and the keys and the notes of automation. And I'm going to ask a question that I don't know the answer to, but I'm very curious about. And I don't even know if the audience is interested as well. But we have some friends in the industry, a friend of ours, Shannon, who works for Firetrace. Mm-hmm. When I see certain materials being cut, I know there's a high possibility that we can start a fire. We know that when we're doing automation, oftentimes we're trying to do automation with nobody in the shop. And if it's not nobody, it's a skeleton crew. Does the filtration systems, this escaped mist that's kind of floating around in machines, does that also create some of the issues that Firetrace helps support when it comes to running 24/7 through the nights without people, trying to prevent fires? I guess what my question is does an excess of coolant that gets out of the machine or from the machine that's not being demisted correctly, does that also lead into some of those issues besides the fact you brought up earlier, it's sucking in the stuff, which can lower the life of the machines, and if we're spending millions of dollars, what a waste. Let's invest in a filtration system. But does that also stimulate the environment for fires?
So if you're talking about oil mist, finely atomized oil, yes, but generally risk of fire will be inside the machine. I would say that the mist collector won't impact that outside of the machine.
Okay.
I will say that when it comes to automation, let's use an example for a second. So you've got a robotic cell, you've got multiple machines, and you've got a robot arm that's moving, putting blanks in and taking ready parts out and putting them onto the next process. If you don't have a good way to clean those parts in between each step, you're now dealing with chips, you're now dealing with coolant all over the floor that can eventually potentially damage the robots because it is going to drip all over the place. So what we're working towards is we're working to add a way to clean these parts in between each step, and we're doing it in such a way that you're not losing control of the part, because in high precision manufacturing it's very important to keep that control. So the robot wouldn't place it somewhere and then go on to the next thing and pick it up, because every time you let go of that part you're losing control of it, and you're introducing potential defects. So that's what I mean when I say automation. We're working towards providing a really good setup for cleaning of parts.
I'm going to ask you another question. Hopefully you're able to answer this. I want it to be authentic and honest. When someone's setting up an automation cell, on average, where do you think this filtration comes in on their importance list?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
So we are honest about that, yeah. but it's important.
That's right. And that's something they realize after the fact.
Yes.
That's something they realize when they already have it in place. So, for example, we visited a client recently, and they're grinding glass.
Ooh, that
yeah.
sounds bad for the lungs if you don't get it cleaned up.
That's right. And everywhere in this robotic cell, I mean, they have to dress their robots in protective shielding, and everywhere in the robotic cell you've got a coolant and then also this granulated glass. So we're working towards providing them a solution so that it's contained.
Where does your passion come from, Erik? I'm curious. We've gone through this whole thing. I've had you on the show a couple of times now. We've been friends for a long time. You have an infectious passion about you that makes me want to care more about my lungs. You even went for a run this morning in South Florida, just breathing in the fresh air.
Oh, that was amazing.
You lived in Vancouver for a little while, where well, it's not jungles, but they have so many forests, rainforests, I believe, that they have there.
Yep.
Anyway, obviously, and I'm not sure it's even connected to what we're talking about, but where does this passion come from?
So I've always been a supporter of the underdog. And Aeroex, when I joined the company, was very much the underdog in the industry. But something that I learned very quickly, it was actually my first client meeting, they purchased a mist collector for me with this half expectation that it'll work. So they made an investment and thought to themselves, this might work. I'll try it because what I have now is so terrible. And they've obviously made this investment numerous times over before to have such a jaded mindset, right? And that was an eye-opener to me. So when personally, it's when I part with my hard-earned money, I'm sure that what I'm getting, or sometimes it fails, but most of the time I think I'm sure that what I'm getting is what I need, is what it's going to work. So that was an eye-opener, and that client has since standardized on our products. But that to me was a light bulb moment. Like, hey, we have a product here that helps people in many ways, in health, maintenance, many ways, and people just don't know about it. And the whole mindset about mist collectors and the industry is a negative one, because it might work, or it might not.
Yeah, but yours will.
Yes.
Did I ever tell you that story about when I was running a woodworking shop, and I swear my router would break down every summer just because we weren't doing the right things to filter the dust, to capture, do something about the heat. I must have been changing out the motherboards of that bad boy 3 times every summer. And imagine the productivity losses. Imagine, everything that goes along with it. The machine itself is going to reduce its overall time. I just want to share that story real quick. But what I want to ask you, your next question is, we've talked about your passion, you talked about the technology. What does it mean to you when you see a successful customer, when you have someone call you up and say, thank you, I can breathe better, or thank you, my machines are running better, or thank you, my parts are coming out better? I mean, all of these things are intertwined in the reduction of the overall mist being everywhere all over the shop. And I'm curious where you sit when someone goes, Erik, I had this 50-50 idea of what this was going to do for me based on my previous knowledge, and you have gone far above and beyond to make sure that I'm taken care of. What does that mean to you?
So I think many people can relate to. There is something that there's a positivity when you help people, right? And that feeling of, hey, I've helped somebody. That's what it is I've given somebody a better way to do something. I've given somebody a better way to run their shop. I've given somebody a way to clean up their facility and allow them to attract new talent, allow them to reduce the maintenance on their machines, allow them to not go home at the end of the day and have a stomach ache, for example. So all these things, it's a very nice, I can't describe it. Words are hard sometimes, but you've helped somebody. Just like when somebody calls you and says, hey, Tony, thank you for bringing my company out there and putting all these eyes on it. It's you've helped somebody, right?
Being honest, if that didn't happen, I don't know if I could continue. It's exhausting, but knowing that we're helping people, yes, and being a part of that journey with them, I love the feedback. So if anyone's out there and I'm doing a good job, please let me know and give Erik a call as well. If he's helped you out, we leave it in the comments. We love hearing positive feedback.
I think many of us operate under the presumption that no news is good news, right? And that's what we're used to. But that positive feedback goes a long way, for sure.
No news to me is like, what did I do wrong?
Well, in
really
manufacturing
know,
or sales, for the most part, right?
You are correct, but my personality is, oh no. What have I done?
I'm with you. And, it's really interesting how in the last 4 years even things have evolved, right? And we talk about the labor shortage, for example. There are large companies that are continuing to expand because there's demand for their product, but they're not able to attract talent, for example, maintenance. So we look at solving those problems, and that's where also that feeling of gratitude comes from, is when you're able to help somebody and you're able to help solve their problem. So I'll use an example. We have a client that's running 120 machines, but their service team is quite small, or their maintenance team is quite small. And they're obviously focused on keeping those machines running because that's what's making you money at the end of the day. Collaborating with that client, we're now developing a system for our mist collectors, a way to communicate. We haven't decided if they're going to go with a central control yet, or we're going to make a visual management tool specifically for them to tell the maintenance team something is wrong and prevent them from, during their weekly walkthrough, check the gauge on every mist collector, for example. Some mist collectors out there don't even have a gauge, so you can't do that. But, that's what keeps us going, is the fact that it's always changing. There's always new problems to solve. It's quite fascinating.
Look, right now, kids are looking at what they're going to be doing in the future, and some of them don't even know what a career in manufacturing could look like. So what we're trying to do is support organizations and initiatives that are telling kids what a career in manufacturing is. So help us give back by purchasing Shop Floor Coffee. You can find us at shopfloorcoffee.com. We're on LinkedIn. Contact us. Let us know how we can support you and your organization.
It is indeed. And I want to slide into a little bit as we're, giving kudos to situations and people and how we feel when people respond back. The importance of partnerships. As you've continued to go throughout the U.S., I know that you and I have spoken to people, and partnerships are of the utmost importance. We got to make sure that people understand. We got to make sure that a lot of these partnerships, filtration isn't let's say the big money maker or the big focus, but is so necessary in shops that we need to make it easy for them to integrate as well. We've heard this firsthand from some of our friends in Michigan, right? So let's talk about the importance of partnerships. You're welcome to give some shameless name drops if you want. Totally up to you, but the importance of partnerships as you guys continue to grow at a unprecedented rate, thanks to you and your stable team. Shout out to Sean and Marcus as well, by the way, while we're at it.
Thank you. So obviously we wouldn't be able to do this without our partners. And what we do with these partnerships is, again, we learn about what's important for you as an organization, whether you are a industrial air purification company that does everything air purification, whether you are a machine tool dealer or an OEM. We learn what's important to you from your perspective to give your clients what they need. And integration is a very, very big topic because many products out there just give you their product and say, Good luck. You go, figure it out. Yeah. We don't do that. A good example is we have over 100 different machine-specific mounting accessories at this point that we collaborate with our partners to design, and then we catalog and stock. We'll talk about the delivery times a little bit later, but that has been a big part of our success, just making it easy for our partners to give their customers a good product.
So let's go right into delivery times, as you said. We'll talk about it a little bit later and make sure that we cover that topic because, again, going back to the last few years, I'd make the discussion that customer service in a lot of areas has dropped. A lot of the hotels I check into, sorry guys, it's true, sorry. And delivery has been a struggle, certainly from things that have come from other places of the world, which is why reshoring and nearshoring with Mexico and Canada, where you are, has been a big part of U.S. manufacturing as a whole. So let's talk about lead time and that importance.
Yeah, so I think we touched on it a little bit earlier when we talked about the buying journey of today's purchasers, right? Mm-hmm. So that research phase happens, and then it comes down to price and lead time, right? And a lot of the time, one overshadows the other because you need a solution right now. So what we've done at a time where you get less for more, and whether it's customer service, I think everywhere we're experiencing the squeeze, let's call it. You pay more, but you get less because everybody's looking for more profits.
Where's the juice? We're squeezing it. Where's the juice?
That's right. So what we've done is we realized the supply chain issues, and we threw money at it in terms of inventory. We stock at any given time over 200 mist collectors of various models, and you've seen that at our facility.
I was going to bring that up as well, actually. It's great.
And all the accessories to go with them. So when a client calls us and they need a product, 90% of the time, they're going to get it within 1 to 3 days.
Wow.
That's what's important to us because I know, let's use Amazon as an example again. If it's not Prime, I'm not ordering. I want it tomorrow, right? Or even today.
I placed an order today for some things I need tomorrow.
There you go, right? So it's important to us. Also, many people now in decision-making positions are wearing many hats. So if you're able to solve this problem and move on to the next one quickly, that's what you're going to want to do. Right? You don't want to circle back to this 6 weeks from now and get your mind back into the mindset of, okay, I need to now install this mist collector or get my guys to do it or whatnot, right? You want to move on to the next thing. And we're very much understanding where things are going because we're living it too. And it all goes back to that we have the mindset of what our clients would want because that's what we would want. So that's in everything that we do from initial contact to the product that you get is we treat you the way we want to be treated.
Honestly, Eric, I would make the claim that a lot of folks say it, but backing it up is the difference. And you guys back it up. And I have been into your facility to do that. And I think if I sat down on this podcast with a lot of folks, they go, whatever you want, we'll do it for you. We want the same thing. And it's kind of synonymous with trying to make a sale, right? But at the same time, you tell someone a truth, and that truth doesn't come true, that might be the last time you do business together, but you guys are brilliant at that. I'm going to ask you in just a minute any questions that I didn't ask you today about yourself, the technology, the future, anything that you'd like to kind of summarize this podcast about that I haven't asked you, and just kind of leave you that floor. But in order to give you time to think about what that might be, I kind of want to bring up our fun little partnership we've had on Shop Rescue recently, and those Priest brothers loved your product. We popped it on the top of one of their Haas machines, showed it a bunch of videos. We loved having you as a partner for that, and they enjoyed the technology as well.
And I thoroughly enjoyed that because our conversation initially, they thought, hey, do we even need one of these? Right. Right? And now the results speak for themselves. So that was a really, really cool project I enjoyed working on. So thank you for giving us that opportunity. What we haven't talked about, something that's really exciting that we're going through now is expansion, right? As the growth of our company, as I mentioned earlier, we went from 7,000 square feet in one facility, 10 people, to 30,000 in 3 facilities and about 30 people.
Congratulations.
And now we're at a point where we need to continue expansion. So something we are planning on in the near future is bringing a facility into the United States. A lot of our market, a lot of our market is down here, and a lot of our growth is down here, and we want to be able to service that market faster, even faster than we do today.
Wow.
And better by having local presence. So that is some of our plans for the very near future, is to open a facility down in the United States.
Are you thinking personally strategic and join me here in South Florida, or relationships are strategic and be in the Midwest somewhere for both coasts?
So I'm thinking both. I think one might trump the other, but there's definitely a lot of consideration that goes into it from every aspect. To us, quality of life of the people that work with us is important, and that certainly goes into the consideration. But also, we want to be able to deliver our product anywhere in the United States within 1 to 3 days. So that is also important.
Well, A, thank you for caring about this industry. B, thank you for doing such a wonderful job providing for us and caring about customer service. And then C, thank you for all of these partnerships and friendships that you continue to create. Your authenticity, your passion, I absolutely appreciate you as a friend. Is it okay with you if we slide over to a couple of fun questions and then a couple of games as well?
I love fun questions. Let's do it.
So one question I had on here, and because I like your personality so much, and you and I will do dinners and drinks and hang out and unfamiliar flavors, right?
That show's got to come out, by the way.
But so we'll just go ahead and announce that now. Eric and I are working on this little sub-series we hope you'll watch called Unfamiliar Flavors, where we eat some of the most random flavors around the world and kind of talk about it and enjoy ourselves. Have I left anything out about unfamiliar? That's pretty much the thing, right?
Yeah, and share that enjoyment with others.
Yeah, maybe go a lot.
Yes, but also you're very articulate and good with words, so I'm going to lean on you there to try and describe what we're experiencing to the audience.
Oh, good grief! Good luck. We're going to need some. I'm going to need a real thesaurus or something. We're going to need some help with this. But yes, unfamiliar flavors. We're going to work on that. We're going to be nobody can be Anthony Bourdain, but to mimic-ish his philosophy and food habits, right?
Well,
what a brilliant man that guy was.
Yeah, and I think it's important to bring personality to all of this, right? I think a lot of people get tied up with the day-to-day and hitting goals and profits and everything else, and of course all of that is important. But we're all people and we all have personalities, and I think that we now with social media and influencers, we now have the ability to communicate that and to show people that, or show the audience that there are real people behind all of this, right?
There are real people making your things, folks, and we're not as boring as you might think just because we're good at numbers. Not me, per se, but people out there are good at numbers. All right, a couple of just generally fun questions. The first one I have here, which I think is kind of neat, is how would you explain the importance of manufacturing to a 5-year-old or a young person or just someone outside of the industry, right?
I think today that's easy because, 5-year-olds and young people all love TV, and they all love to get into their cars and go to a cool place. So whatever perspective you want to look at that from, you can if you take that away from them and say, hey, without manufacturing you wouldn't have that, there's gonna be a lot of questions.
Yeah, I would. I think somewhere in one of my conversations, whether it was on a recorded something or just off air, we were just like, just take the stuff from them. Yeah, take their cars and their phones and their TVs and the.
Well, my 5-year-old doesn't have a phone. I have 3, 6, and 8, and none of them have a phone, and that's important because I think there's a lot of stuff out there that. These kids should not be. Well,
then take their little mini big wheels or mobile. Anyway, let's not be mean to the kid. Maybe it's a fault. My 12-year-old does have a cell phone, and she's had one for a couple of years. But I'd like to think she's somewhat. It's just an excuse. I think even Bill Gates said, "Don't give your kids phones." Anyway, next little fun question. Let's see here. There's a few on here I want to ask you. I just don't have time for all of them. What would a manufacturing Olympics look like, and which event would you win?
Whoa. Manufacturing Olympics. So I think
It's kind of fun and creative.
Yeah. So I think you've got speed, right? How fast can you make something? You've got precision. How precise is the end result? And you've got the delivery of it, right? Because from the point that you make something and then it gets through your quality control and it's good, you now have to get it to your customer. And there's a whole slew of systems and things that need to go into that. And I'm going to say the delivery is something that we would certainly win, without a doubt.
That's really cool. And now you've given me some ideas for our friends at IMTS. What if we put a couple of folks against each other that could design and then cut or print, depending on what route we want to go, and then deliver that to someone in the audience?
Yeah,
that's kind of fun.
That's a cool one. And when we talk about like a one-off delivery, that's not that complicated, right? But when we talk about it on a mass scale, as Elon Musk said, right, it's hard. It's very hard. When you make a prototype, that's easy, but mass scale manufacturing,
repeatable
or delivery, that's right. It's hard.
Yeah, and that gets into some of the conversations I've had with those really precise machines out there, versus something that might be more affordable. Is the more affordable one going to have that repetitive flexibility and process of quality that you're going to need to do things more than once? A prototype shop is completely different, and that can be fun. You can make adjustments, make some offsets, just measure the tool inside the machine, even with calipers if you want to, right? Yeah. There's just so you're right about that. All right, you want to play a couple games now?
Sure.
All right, so 2 truths and a lie. I will warn you, I am terrible at this. In fact, I'm so terrible at this, I was on here the other day, asked the same question, and they didn't understand the game quite as much, and they gave me 2 lies and a truth, and I still got it wrong. All I had to do was guess one lie, and I picked the only truth. So I'm probably going to fail here. Christian, back me up. How bad am I at this game? I mean, awful, right?
Well, you nailed it last week, or actually this week, but with
that is the first one and the only one, though.
Yeah, so keep the streak going, I guess.
Yeah, right. We'll see how this works out. All right, did I mumble enough to long-winded sentences enough to give you time to think about 2 truths and a lie?
Yeah, the lie is the hardest one always, I think. All right, so let's try this. Before I know I look young, so this might be hard to believe. Before joining Aeroex, I had a 14-year-long career in logistics.
Impossible. That's a lie.
Marcus and I have a rally track where we like to spend our free time.
I hope that's true.
And I want to get an airplane.
I feel like there was enough hesitation for the last one, Christian. What do you think? That one has to be the lie? I mean, I feel like Erik would do well with an airplane. He's traveling all over the world right now already for Aeroex.
I'm on planes almost as often as you are.
Yeah, you may as well get a plane, but the first one seemed pretty specific, unless he goes like it was 13 years instead of 14 years, which people trick me on.
That's kind of cheap, though.
That will be a cheap, but people
cheap.
do it. People do it to me. And then the second one, I want that to be true, so I'm not even going to guess that one. I'm just going to pretend it's true. Which one are you going with?
Probably the plane. Oh, I don't know.
He's not a good liar. We know that, but I'm not good at this game.
I don't know. I think I'm going to roll with you on this one.
The plane?
Yeah, because you had a good track record.
But most people want the plane.
Yeah, most people do.
I'm still going to go with the plane. Which one is it?
Yeah, I set you up. They're all truths.
Oh, how cheap.
So I'm starting my private pilot's license lessons next month.
Awesome. Well done.
And we do have a rally track that we like to spend our time at. And I think that is a great opportunity for some content. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Some smoke bombs, some sucking in the tire smoke, some spinning some wheels.
Mostly just fun and destruction.
Okay.
And yes, I did have a full career in logistics before this, which is where my passion for getting something to our customers as quickly as possible comes from.
I didn't know the exact number, which is why I thought you might be tricking me, but I knew that part about.
That would have been too cheap. I just went with the truth. So.
Thank you. Well, 3 truths is okay. It just proves you don't want to lie to me, and I'm okay with that. That's what friends are for. Okay, I got a 1 through 40 on here of would you rathers, and obviously we're not gonna do 40 of these bad boys. We'll just do a couple, but just pick your favorite number 1 through 40.
6.
Number 6 it is. So, would you rather develop a new eco-friendly manufacturing process or improve an existing process to double its efficiency?
improve an existing process to double its efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that you can get eco-friendly benefits through that.
Oh, I see what you've done there. Yeah, if we're going to be more efficient, we're
That's
going to
right.
double down on the eco-friendliness.
That's right.
Oh, goodness. You've done it. You always know how to win. All right, second number.
I got to keep messing with you.
It's fun. I like it. Second number?
Let's go with 9.
Number 9 it is. Would you rather work in a noisy but exciting steel mill or a quiet, clean semiconductor lab?
Noisy and exciting.
Yeah?
I think the quiet would just it would just get boring. I need the action.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me going. And going back to, I'll tie this back into Aeroex. Quite often, I leave my quiet office and go to the back and talk about whatever projects we're working on. Go to our manufacturing facilities, which is noisy because we have a turret and a couple of press brakes. So I need that action to switch things up.
Is that why you have all the kids around similar age as well? So just a little bit of chaos at
3
home?
kids and 2 dogs. I don't like free time or quiet time.
There's no inner peace for you.
No.
Well, that concludes the podcast itself. It concludes the games. I absolutely appreciate you. Today we have a really delicious scotch. I'm also going to leave the floor open to you if you want to give some name drops, if you want to thank anyone, if you want to bring this whole thing to a close about Aeroex, anything you would like to toast today to close this show out, Erik. I truly appreciate your time.
Yeah, so first I want to say thank you to you. This has been a great opportunity, and you always do a great job of making our voice heard. So thank you for that. I really want to show my appreciation to our team because none of us can do this by ourselves from a leadership perspective, and we need passionate and capable individuals that support all of it. So we wouldn't experience the growth we have. We wouldn't be here today. I'm really grateful for the people that we work with, that we have behind us, to continue moving forward.
It's almost like you planned for this part. That was really well said, sir.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's that good. What do you think, buddy?
Oh, wow.
Yeah? Good
Wow.
stuff?
That's excellent.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. This has been another wonderful, at least I think so, wonderful episode of the Gun Show VIP edition. Please put your hands together for my buddy Erik. I almost called Aeroex. I was combining the
close.
two words.
Yeah, I can see
but
that.
yeah, please put
It's
your
a
hands
Scotch.
together for it. Already just one sip? Goodness gracious, what a little weak sauce I am if I'm already jumbling my words from one tiny sip. Anyway, let's put our hands together for Erik. Erik, you've done a wonderful job. We appreciate your time. For everyone watching, we know how valuable time is. It's one thing we cannot manufacture or get more of. So if you've shared a small piece of it with us today, we truly appreciate you. Thank you all, and we will see you again next time.